be starting off with Predator. This is definitely going to be my favorite sci-fi movie, action movie, Schwarzenegger movie, for damn sure. And I mean, I just couldn't believe that NECA started doing this. I remember when they first dropped, I only got one because I thought it was cool. It was definitely, I think it was a City Hunter. We'll get there. But yeah, man, I just love Predator, bro. Like, Stan Winston killed it with that design. It's so iconic and classic. And for me, let's just say Predator 1 and 2 is going to be the only Predator movies that I want to watch. Nothing else is good. They're all trash. And the faces are never the same. This is the Predator. The stuff they're putting out now with AVP and Prey and all that, that ain't Predator. Predator 1 and Predator 2 and Kenner figures are pretty much my mainstay when it comes to Predator figures. I got a few comic issues here and there, but for the most part, I try and stay true to the 1s and the 2s. And Big Red there. Man, talk about a pricey figure. Good lord. Glad I didn't have to pay all that money for it. I mean, these 2-packs are sicker than anything, too. Man. NECA just went above and beyond with all these, dude. A buddy of mine gave me this Predator. He's too dope. And, yeah, so this is pretty much my Predator 1 shelf. Alright, now going from this side over, what's going to be from Predator 1 all the way to Predator 2. Everything in between, literally, is in between. I bet nobody has that. I guess we've pretty much covered Predator. Shout out in the comments if y'all saw anything you wanted me to do more of. I can do a short on something, showing more close-up stuff. But as we make our way down, starting out from the top row, we got all the Lost Tribe original carded figures. They are, man, they're amazing. Predator 2 is so underrated. I'd say it's evenly on par with Predator 1. But Predator 1 is just a better action movie, but Predator 2 is still, it's a really good movie. And I hate that everybody hates on it. I like original concept designs too. Some of them are really, really good. This is just too sick. I would not pass that up. And the teeth kept breaking on a lot of the figures I saw. So I'm glad I got one that had complete teeth. Yeah. And these are getting more into the, I guess, original comic designs and stuff. Yeah. Just love it, man. That end scene in Predator 2 was just so dope. I hate that they kind of ruined it in Prey with the pistol, but, you know, that's just what movies do. They ruin shit, and they don't leave it alone. I am glad to have the first female Predator, even though she's not really a Predator. It's still cool. We're coming hot into Predator 2. Alright, now starting us out, these Ultimates are the exact same Lost Tribe figures. They're just updated and got more accessories. And I've got almost the complete set. Gigantic. I'm just missing 6, 8, and 10. Once I got those, I will have my complete tribe. Finally. Oh, I can't get high up on his face. I'm not that tall. That's a sick figure, though. I love these 18-inch NECA figures. I wish they'd make more of them. But yeah. The Elder Predator. Man, I was so sad the day he fell off the blister card. The glue only holds for so long, so it's a matter of time. But I'm glad to have him on display. Glad to have him on display. And I have like 4 of the versions, so it's fine. But yeah, Predator 2, Predator 1, Kenner. Just the greatest things about Predator. Just give us this face in movies today. Go back to this. Stop making the crap out now. Ugh. My shoulder's burning already. Good lord. Now the Kenner stuff, man, Crack Tusk. This was my absolute favorite figure growing up as a kid in terms of Predator figures. But like Kenner, they were great, man. They had so many great designs. I loved them all. Definitely a lot of reuse in these bucks, but you know, what figure company doesn't do that? I remember my brother got this one from Kenner, and dude, I couldn't believe he was the one that got a glow-in-the-dark figure. I was so jealous of him, man. So weird to say that, but whatever. But I'm glad to have him. This is more Kenner tribute stuff, and man, when this first got announced, I knew I was never ever going to see this in stores. And I was lucky enough, like good old Toys R Us days, bro, there was one left on the peg. Needless to say, for what was it, $35? Yeah, I grabbed them. Moving on down, we got a few more of the Alien vs. Predator line. This was a hated on 2-pack. And I don't know, I didn't want it whatsoever, but GameStop had some clearance thing, and I think this was like 16 bucks. So, glad to add it to the collection. Any Schwarzenegger-esque character, I'll take it. On to the next one. Establishing shot. Starting us out here, we're going to have Mojo. Mojo's fantastic. This wasn't the exclusive 3-pack, which I wish I would have gotten, but still a fantastic figure. It's a good upgrade. It still looks, I don't know, a little less detailed than it should be, I guess. I think there should just be a lot more paint, a lot more texture, especially from, what is this, 14 years ago when the first one came out. It's kind of taking a step backwards in a sense, but it's still awesome. I'm glad to have him on my display. Nova as well is one of the best Marvel Legends that's ever come out. Pretty much any figure that you put on this body, it's going to be rocking. Alright, so this is going to be, I guess, the Herald display, but I don't know. Anything involving Silver Surfer, I'm all in. Silver Surfer is definitely top 5 Marvel characters of all time. And Nova, I love Nova. I love everything about Nova. I really hate that we haven't seen her in the movies yet, but I'm sure she'll be making her debut soon enough. But man, she is just such an amazing character. Frankie! Yeah, but I mean, that Silver Surfer is amazing. This Silver Surfer is amazing. When I can get the 3rd Silver Surfer that came with Galactus, then it's going to be on. Man, I just want the face. I just want that new head. I want that new face because, to be honest, this face is kind of bad. It's the nose. Same here. You know? I definitely want to point out Frankie Ray's little fire throne here. The fire stand that she came with, I mean, it was just awful looking. It made her look like trash in some awful unnatural pose. So I made her a throne, because every queen deserves her throne. And bro, this just works out so much sicker. Where the arms are balancing on the flames. It's like they're raising her arms up in position to sit on a throne of fire. And that's exactly what this figure is. Next up. Alright. So I have no idea what this shelf is. It's basically just a hodgepodge mix of all these different figures that I like and just have no real room in any displays. They're pretty much just one and done figures, one-offs that just fit nowhere. But I just really like all these figures. They're either slept on or amazing. I mean, that Lizard, man, I really regret not having YouTube when Lizard came out. He would have easily been #1 of the year. I absolutely love that figure so much. In terms of Build-A-Figures, that Demogoblin and that Venom, and those are 2 of the best, for show, from Hasbro. But yeah, G.I. Joes, I couldn't help but buy a lot of these different, I don't even know the names of them. I'm going to call them Cobra Soldiers, Robos. I came across these G.I. Joes, had most of these other figures for really clearance priced, and I was not going to pass on Army Builders, especially when they have all these options of different arms, hands, accessories, backpacks. Man, how can you really not like robots, you know? Robots are just dope as shit. Darkhawk also remains one of my favorite Marvel Legends of all time. They could update him just to make those wings better, but there's absolutely nothing wrong with this figure at all. Yondu's the same way. Future Foundation Ant-Man back there in the back. Man, just a Kamen Rider. A really, really cheap Kamen Rider, but I still take it. This year, for sure, I would really like to get more into imports and third-party figures and just really kind of just branch out from all the stuff you can get in box stores. But man, I just really love these. I'm very impressed by the Naruto. Very, very impressed by Piccolo. 2 absolutely dope figures. But yeah, I don't want to give enough Jada Toys props. I've done that enough in past videos, but everybody I think knows, if you're a fan of the channel, how I feel about them. But I'll say, if you're new to the channel, man, I love Jada Toys, bro. Jada Toys just kill it with whatever they're doing for the last, I guess, 3 lines. Universal Monsters, Street Fighter, Mega Man. I just love the company. They know how to kill a figure, bro. So anyway, let's go to this next shelf here, shall we? Shall we? Yeah! This has got to be my absolute most favorite shelf in my entire display. It is just nothing but my childhood. Nothing but 80s and 90s. All the way. Everything that I love in modern action figure form. I couldn't be more absolutely just ecstatic to have all this. And I know with the Street Fighter figures, it's only gonna grow. But Mirage Turtles, these are my absolute holy grail. My amazing wife for Christmas gave me these bad boys. And, bro, they just don't disappoint. They are definitely not the knockoffs either, so I did my extensive research to find out how. And I'm, man, I love these Mirage Turtles. All I need now is that little bitty Splinter that's like from NECA. The little bitty dude. Need to get him, and that will be my complete team. And I definitely prefer Triceratons over here. There's something about the Turtles in Time. No. Manhattan Project. Sorry. Oh, man. I played that game so many times. Me and my brother probably, I don't know, rented it easily 200 times. Man, that's like my absolute favorite Turtles game ever made. That's probably one of my favorite games. But anyway, look at it. Those are amazing. And I'm so excited to finally have them in my display. Moving on to the next thing. Perfect thing you can do with figures that are duplicates and alternates. Bro, set up a Secret Wars display. It's fantastic. I'm going to add more maybe, but I don't know. Now, Transformers, I was never a gigantic fan of Transformers, but, you know, I was aware of them and stuff. But when it comes to having a boombox and Optimus Prime, yeah, I'm going to get that. All right, heading to the back, I'm putting together my own Justice League, where it's going to be my favorite versions of each one of the characters. Now, that Superman's custom, but I definitely want to get a more slender, not so overly jacked Superman body. It's up to McFarlane to put it out, so I hope he does. And Keaton in Nightfall Batman, come on. Come on. This is my 80s and 90s nostalgia. Foosh. On to the next one. Evil Dead. This is the greatest horror movie ever made. It's my favorite film of all time. I love everything about the first Evil Dead movie. It's, again, perfect. I don't know why I keep repeating myself with the perfect films, but I mean, that's why they're in my displays, because these things are perfect. Freddy, on the other hand, he's just hanging out because I don't have a space for him right now. But he's hanging out with the greatest gift I was ever given by my wife. On our first anniversary of being boyfriend and girlfriend, she gave me this, and it's a custom-made Freddy glove. It's got the copper brass, it's got the rivets, it's got the actual metal blades. Everything about this thing is figure fire. This. McFarlane's Army of Darkness figures are some of the most detailed, amazingly sculpted figures that have ever come out. Sure, the articulation's not there, but I mean, we can really take a back seat with that when the figures look this good. But McFarlane killed it with these figures. What he was doing 20 plus years ago with these figures in terms of sculpt and detail, man, it's like he was such a level above everybody else. He was such a game changer. These figures still hold up, and that's why they're on my display. NECA is good too. They do their job at doing it well. They make them look really screen accurate. Gorgeous. And the gore detail on these things are next level, bro. But I mean, you can't beat that likeness. That is so Bruce Campbell from 1977. It's ridiculous. Shot Best Mart in the back. I'm really kind of torn on what to do with this Scarlet Witch. I feel like it would really make a good Deadite. Just paint it up, give it a new coat, give it a little bit of detail pop. I think it's going to fit in well, but we'll see. But yeah, man, horror, it's the greatest thing ever. Gore, fear, macabreness, mayhem, slaughter, I love it all. Guts and sluts, boobies and gore. Yeah, boy. Alright, fun fans, listen, we have so many more figures to go through. So until we meet again in part 2, y'all take it easy. Bye.
Tell everyone you know about fun is offensive.
Yeah. It's showtime. Starting part 2 out, we're looking at the Midnight Suns. This is definitely going to be a whip for sure. It's pretty good so far, I ain't gonna lie. If I could just get my hands on a really decent blade. Now, I'm just really not impressed with any blade figure that's come out so far. So more than likely, I'm just gonna have to make my own. But it is what it is. Now, for sure, we need to be getting a Werewolf by Night sometime soon, I would say, from Hasbro. I want a Werewolf by Night. But until then, I will definitely wait on getting the Werewolf, my man, because I am not gonna, no. I'd say we're in desperate need of a new Ghost Rider, a new body, a new mold, something better than this. I mean, I really expected something to come out on the anniversary year of him, but just a repaint, not that cool for me. They're doing Johnny way wrong. But this sick Punisher, I don't know where I got this head from. It came in a box. If you want to go back on the channel at all, it was my first fan mail. That's right. It was a gigantic box of fodder, and that head was in there. So I just repainted it up to match the skin tone a little bit more. But yeah, it worked out fantastic. Big fan. Re-released Moon Knight. It's a sick figure. Even though it's kind of an outdated body by now, still a fantastic one. I copped it full price. Yeah, I know. But that's them. Alright, so X-Men are the #1 team in my entire collection. This is nothing but childhood. This is what I grew up on. This was my first introduction to Marvel, and I have absolutely loved them ever since. Nothing will ever compare to this team. I could talk for days about this figure. Everybody knows who's a fan of the channel. #1 Marvel Legend of last year, for show. It's just so fire. That Bucky cap is horrendous, but that face is gorgeous. I want to take a minute and talk about Kurt here. This figure was really, really good, other than the fact that it came on the Pizza Spotty body. So I ended up taking him from the knee down with the bullseye legs, and I just painted the red stripes on there. I took Bullseye's arms also. He's a little beefier, but this is how I hope the X-Men 97 figure is. I hope it comes with boot cut, bro. It's gotta come with boot cut. I would say it's like a tragedy for figures to come out now with Marvel Legends and not have boot cut. Even the female figures. They should all have boot cut. Moving on. But yeah, I had to get the beefcakes in the back to pick up the slack, if you know what I'm talking about. All that wide open area and real estate. But anyway, moving on here. When you gotta throw Deadpool into the mix, I mean, those are 3 characters that I'm not too big of a fan of, but I really just appreciate. I grew up with like Wizard Magazine, all the Marvel Masterpiece cards and stuff, so they hold a little bit of place in my heart, even though they're not too big a fan, or even though I'm not too big a fan of them. Jesus, get the words out, bruh. We got my Kit Bashed Iceman. I just took 2 different versions of him and threw them together. He goes all the way down to the floor too. Yeah, I don't know if you can see too well, but we got it anyway. I only had this figure because I picked him up at Ross this Christmas season for $4, and I'm pretty glad I did. I got him for the effects, and I stayed for the figure. We'll be right back. And we're back, coming in with the Gambit. You know, nothing to say wrong about Gambit. I think the first release is probably the best, and that's the one that I stick with. Again, with that 97 was rough. I got my ladies coming from the back, holding it down. I really just felt like that was the most appropriate way for them to be. I am so glad I copped this figure, man, for $40 at some random toy show. Knowing how much it goes for now, which is probably not too much more than $40, still glad I didn't have to pay more than retail. And it's a phenomenal figure. What is it? It's one of the few suited bodies that I would actually want in my collection. So, yeah.
I finished this with the Russian Giant. Bro, that beard is the way to go for show, man. That head is so fire. Man, it's so fire.
Jubilee with a custom blast effect. You can pretty much just tell what it is. It's all just switched out and stuff with different colors to make it pop like Jubilee's firework powers. Yeah, boy. Too many people are sleeping on Beast 2, man. This figure is so underestimated and so overlooked. It's better than the, I don't know, 7 releases they've already done with the exact same Beast so far. And this one still holds up better. And he will always be in my display. Oh, man. Hank McCoy, bro. You are just the real McCoy. How about that? Oh. So I had to change it up again for this video, and I'm not happy with it because it just doesn't showcase all the figures that I have. But I wanted to give some love to the villains. The villains overtook everything, so that just is what it is. But I got Doc Ock still in the same pose. It's been over a week, I would say. But yeah, man, Spider-Man's number one, bro. I love Spider-Man so much. All these designs are so amazing. All the characters. I mean, again, it just rings back to childhood. And then finding out about Venom. And then from Venom came Todd McFarlane and progression all the way through my life and everything else. It's just nothing but a steady web. Oh my God, I didn't even mean to say that. This Carnage is probably my favorite piece in my entire display. I just think that pose is so sick. I think the tendrils that I made and gave him just adds so much extra life and personality to him. Taking that Marvel Select blade hand, popping it in there. He just looks so menacing, man. It just looks so good. I think enough people have seen all my shorts and my videos about this guy right here. Basically, Doc Ock and Green Goblin both, I mean, they were overestimated. They look phenomenal, but their functionality just sucks. Sure, his tentacles are good, but I mean, that's just a suited body. I don't personally feel like it's a figure that I just pick up and have fun with a lot, unless I'm doing a pose session, and then I'm going to put him right back in the display. But, I don't know, I'm not going to go on about this shit. Now, when it comes to Vulture, I think we are in desperate need of an upgrade. I don't want to be that guy, but I just feel like the Pizza Spotty body, again, it's just so overused, outdated. I mean, it just shouldn't be used at all anymore. They're probably still going to release a few more figures on it, but he's still phenomenal though. I love this figure. I don't think I can get in too close, but like the detail of his old age and the wrinkles in his face, the detail of the collar. I mean, it could use a wash, but man, I don't know. It's still a good figure. I'm not going to hate on it because he's going to be in the air and I don't really have to worry about boot cuts too much on the figure, but he's a rare exception. Venom and Carnage are also, man, they're just so classic in my world. I love it. I love the symbiote. I'm not too big of a fan when it comes to all the different ones that they came out with the purples and the yellows. I just want to stick with the classics for me. But Venomized Miles, I've known nothing about him. I knew no, that would happen. But anyway, Venomized Miles, like I had no idea about any of this kind of stuff, but like the detail on him, I mean, I think I have 3 of these. It's future kit bashes or future customs actually, because it's going to be repaint, but it's the detail on his hands of the tendrils. I wonder if I can break this out. The possibilities with this hand for kit bashes and customs, dude, like it's just, I've never seen anybody use it before. I mean, if you were to even make that like a peach colored, since the glove itself really doesn't even show up, if you made that peach color, dude, that would be a sick creature hand. The way the symbiote strands roll over the fingers, man, like, oh, it could just be done so well with a good paint job. As well as being on one of the greatest bucks of all time from Marvel Legends. It's the Kid Nova buck. Any figure that comes on this, it's one of the most posable, easiest to go, oh my God. You know what? I'm not going to get into it. I'm going to get into it. It's for a later time. So, all right. Let's do it. Speaking of the Kid Nova buck, this Spider-Man is my favorite Spider-Man in my entire collection. It is the #1 Spider-Man. I said in my pocket figure video that he would go with me absolutely everywhere, but I'm just too scared to mess him up and damage him. But hands down, without a doubt, that is the funnest Spider-Man figure that I've ever had. Yep. Hey! Well, it seems like we're catching all my mistakes live because Miles now doesn't want to behave and he wants to start slipping and sliding. But yeah, I got Gwen. If you can notice the theme, it's definitely couples. That's what I went with. And he's the loner trying to like stop them all from coming. But I mean, I don't know. Like I said, I'm not happy with the way this display ended up being, but it is pretty sick. Black suit being one of them. Yeah, buddy, man. And there's my boy right there. I got Lizard over here. Well, it went real dark.
Oh, but he's hitting a bong. Oh, yeah.
Spot looking. Oh, see? There you go again, bro. You suck. You trying to whip at me? Yeah, and I'm not going to go over Spot. I think anybody knows that I love that figure, so I'm going to just go ahead and jump right over him. Shocker's Fire, again, awful use of the Spotty body, but
That's a lot better figure, in my opinion, than the buff body they got, like, what, a year and a half ago out. I'm good. If I would have been on YouTube whenever Shocker came out, bro, he would have definitely been in my top 5. That figure is so great. I had so much fun posing him around. I mean, highlight of the display for sure. One of the top 3 villains in the display, not of personal choice, but fire. Hammerhead was another sleeper hit that was too good to pass up on. I got a few of him as well. Look, I think it's kind of obvious. Like, I just like to switch up a lot of my figures and kind of make them my own in a way, but just change them from what they were. Like, there's no rule saying I have to keep Doc Ock's tentacles on them. Switch them out for something else. It's fucking better. And it looks badass. So yeah, nice little mix of comic and movie, I guess. You know, it'll change again. Next time I get a little bit of downtime, this thing is definitely going to change. But for now, this is how it is. All right, so Fantastic Four and Avengers, here we are. Nothing really too crazy with anything. I don't think, at least, that I modified anything other than Mr. Fantastic's long-ass fist arm, but talk about a proctology exam, Jesus. There's nothing really too crazy about these at all. I mean, I really do like them. Thing is definitely one of the greatest Marvel Legends as well that has ever been made. And this is the Walgreens exclusive one. This is the particular and only one I'm speaking on, not the 2 re-releases they've done before with different repaints. This figure is one of the best ever. Man, it's just so good. It's just so sturdy and posable, man. He can go one-footed. He has wide range, and I really dig it. I mean, the same can be said for Pickle Lips over here. I mean, his mutton chops, dude, are so Elvis fire, bro. Those things are some jawline ticklers for sure, and, oh, man, he's just beefy as all hell. I really wish that he would have had a deeper cut in here for a more forward butterfly joint, but still, this is the best Hulk that they've had released. Hands diggity down. Iron Man, I wish you could give him a hand on that one, but, again, I didn't realize that until right now. So, fantastic. And the buck this Black Panther comes on, bro, every legend should come on that body. It is so fire, man. Just the range you get on it. Whew. I really hope that Hasbro comes out with a version of this Black Panther. Because, bro, that would be the definitive Black Panther in my collection. But until that day comes, this one is just fine. Saving one of the best for last. Captain America, again, top 10 legends of all time. The look, man. The look on his face.
That's a miracle right there, man. I tell you what, boy. He can bounce bullets off that shield, but you can bounce a bullet off that jawline, but I tell you what. Uh-huh.
For anybody that has the MCU classic Loki, that hand matches perfectly with Vision, so you have more options for cooler displays. What up with that shit? Let's go ahead and talk about this thing first. $100 for this Marvel Legends Magneto helmet prop replica. Not worth $10. It's honestly cheaper than a Halloween costume mask. Like, and it's so oversized, the foam pieces it comes with that you're supposed to form on the inside, they fall out. It's not worth it. $100 for this is absolutely ridiculous. So I bought it. Honestly, at this point, I'm just looking to get rid of this thing because it's really an eyesore personally. But yeah. We're moving on to the world of Pandora. Now, bro, I really liked Avatar. I'm not like a nerd about it, though. I don't own anything other than this for it. But, yeah, this happened to be on clearance one day at Target. I think Neytiri was, I don't know, like $7. And this thing was like $8. And it was just, I don't know. There was no way I was going to pass it up. I still want to give her a little die cut, so it'll be a little bit cooler, but it's a phenomenal figure, man. McFarlane really knocked it out of the park with these. I wish they would come out with like a second wave because I really want to get at least one of the kids from the second movie. The articulation for them is just insanely crazy, especially with this big Banshee. Bro, it's just insane. Like, there's just so many points of articulation in the wing alone. Like, it's got a hinge, it's got a swivel. Every single one of them does. It's very nice.
And you can get into some sick poses whenever it's just like crouched down on the beach or whatever it would be, just kind of like chilling. The attention to detail too, man. Like again, man, McFarlane is just top notch. If that mouth would have closed, it would have been a lot sicker. But dude, no complaints. That's why it's in the display. Now, before I get into these two right here, I definitely want to go ahead and just say that it was just MMPR for me. It was the only team that I ever got into. It's the only thing I have knowledge of. The furthering series and stuff, zero knowledge. But the helmets look dope, though. The helmets are a huge draw. Bro, it's a Shark Boy. It's just so awesome. I mean, I don't know. There's just no other words to describe it. I mean, he's just too dope to pass up. Now, the awesome thing about him that he's not probably going to pick up on film here, the silver paint for his teeth is a little bit off. So it looks like he literally just has a grill. Yeah. I think that just is so, I don't know, man. That's just, whew. But it's just so dope. And I mean, that's why he's one of the only two Power Rangers not of MMPR that actually stay in my display. But, yeah, man. Yeah. I think this is a Dino Ranger. Could be wrong, but if it is, it's again a sick design for his teeth and his visor, even though it's very impractical, but still looks sick. To finish out with the Power Rangers, I do have one of the upgrades. The Green Ranger was that Legacy Collection thing that was like $40. It was hot trash and not worth it. I had the intention to replace all of these with the pinless upgrades, and I'm definitely not doing that, bro. The pin bodies are very nice, so they will stay just how they are. I was very happy to complete this collection, and they look beautiful. Beautiful. Now, before we move on to the MCU, we are going to move on through the Fox universe. And I believe I do have every single one of the Fox universe figures. Mystique's hanging out back there. I don't know. I'm kind of perturbed, I should say, that we're not going to be getting any more figures from this line, because I still was really wanting Nightcrawler. I mean, amongst all other of the figures. It is what it is. So I'll just take these 9 figures. Negasonic, though. There we go. That'd be a good shot. I whited out her pupils. I should say I yellowed out her pupils so they have more of a glow effect. And it really made that figure a lot more impressive. Stands out a lot more. Cable, I just got rid of his hulky cape, and I don't know. I did something else. I can't really remember. But it's okay. I'm not a big fan of Cable. Deadpool 2 kind of sucked for me. But I still had to go get Domino, and I got all the figures, so yeah. And of course, anything X-Men. I think, as we just learned, I want in my collection, and these are no exceptions. The only thing that I believe I did do was I cleaned up his mutton chops. And I definitely... What am I doing? I'll just do this. But yeah, I cleaned up his sideburns and mutton chops. I cleaned up the hair around his mouth a little bit to give it more of a, I don't know, so you can just see the actual jawline. It's a little sloppy still. There's a long hair coming off his face. I have to take care of that, but did something to his teeth so you could actually see each individual tooth. Again, it's not my proudest work, but it looks good from far off. Maybe. I don't know. What the hell ever. Very happy with all these. The likenesses of Legends is just incredibly increasing ever since they started doing MCU figures. It's almost like impeccable. There it is. Look at that. My God, dude, that is just incredible. They all look incredible. Even Mystique. That still to me is one of the greatest figures they've made for any kind of like movie, I guess, Marvel Legend. It's just so good. And I want to say how much I love these claws as well. Like, these should be the standard claws for every single Wolverine figure going forward. They did do some of those awful bullshit claws recently. Again, on like 2 figures, I believe. And dude, those are just like the cheapest pieces of shit. They look so bad when you have these right here. And you can bloodstain them too. I'm not going to be mad about that. But anyway, on to the McHugh. Oh, my knees. Holy shit.
Started out, I gotta definitely show Spider-Man here, chilling in his little lawn chair with his iron spider legs. I know nobody's ever seen this before. If anybody's ever seen this before, they saw it from me and took it from me, because I know no one's ever done this. So many figures. It's pretty much the first 10 years for me. There's a few additions of some more recent characters. Tobey McSpider over there being fire as hell. I had to get the Spider-Man, even though Spider-Man 3 sucked. Hasbro can do one thing right with their MCU figures, man. They can knock that likeness out. They can make them look so amazing. It's just really not up until recently, within the last year, that their MCU figures have been going downhill. I mean, I don't know. It's just like they've made them basically just look good, but be completely functionless and not have good articulation. You're not really going to be able to do too much dynamic stuff with them. They're just almost very basic. So I've been kind of staying away from them for the most part, other than the ones that are badass, like Moon Knight and She-Hulk. I just love them, man. They look so fantastic. I can't stop looking at this. This is a custom MCU Spider-Man. That Tobey Maguire figure was just kind of ass for me, man. Like, it could have been so much better. So I made it better. And I think it is definitely top-notch better. Now, creeping over Tobey McSpider's shoulder here, we got the Walmart exclusive cap with Mjolnir. It's a fire figure. He's just a little short, but bro, yeah, that likeness, man, that likeness is so on point. For anybody who's new to the channel or wants to know anything about me, bro, it's the first 10 years for me. The first 10 years were some of the greatest films ever made. I loved every single one of them other than the Thors. Sorry. This guy knows what I'm talking about. Any way we look at it, dude, this is probably my favorite shelf. Easily. This Winter Soldier, though, will soon be replaced. I got the Amazing Yamaguchi on pre-order, and this fella over here can't wait for that to come in. That looks like it's gonna be a barrel full of fun. I really like the Red Guardian. I'm not too pumped for this movie, though. I think that's just gonna be a huge waste of trash. But I'm gonna be there to see it. This is probably going to be the only iteration I care for in terms of live action. Nothing else really. I don't want to see anything else. Same for Shang-Chi. It was decent. I think Wenwu is the absolute best part of that movie. But, I mean, he's just there because I found him for cheap. It's a really damn good likeness. It's really posable. Good articulation in that beast. I'm not going to say that. He has really good articulation for a basic figure. That's a better way to say it. Okay. Moving on to the Archers. I got them because they were good deals. So my collection really kind of grows. The only recent current characters I have are ones that were actually good. Except for Hawkeye back there. I mean, that's another story for another video. Now that Jeremy Renner head, that's so perfect. Like it. But yeah, I just threw on the comic straps and the chainmail, I guess. Adds a little bit of a flair to it. But up and over, like I talked about earlier, Moon Knight, it's a fire figure. So let's go to Cap. This isn't Captain America for me, I'm sorry. This is just, I don't know. It's a cool figure. I'm glad to have it in the collection. It's a great Falcon, but that's not my Captain America. Captain America's a super soldier, man. He's not just a guy, so I don't know. I got mixed feelings about the whole thing, but I don't have mixed feelings about Khonshu. He is easily one of the greatest Build-A-Figures that Marvel Legends has ever put out. He's just so good looking, man. His whole body could use a wash, you know? But what figure really couldn't? But that head is so great. I love it. Moon Knight. Something I've pretty much been doing lately since I've been bored and some downtime without getting any new figures. I've been doing that mod where you carve out some of the inside of the torso so the chest can bend down farther. It's working out pretty well. I mean, it gives just a little bit of extra added chest movements, but it still makes a damn good improvement. Yeah. Love these Guardians. Yondu, man, I'm so glad that I found him. I only saw him once, and I was not going to pass on him. But Scarlet Witch is fire. That's probably the best MCU version. Manus as a Build-A-Figure was kind of disappointing, but, I mean, she just fits the team. She just makes him look so good. I just like the look of this Rocket, so he's just going to be the guy who sits on his shoulder. And he's been like that for 5 years now. But yeah, Tiger Force Star-Lord too. That shirt just fits his personality too much. I felt it was too perfect, so I had to throw it up there. Oh no, Lady Jane. Asgardian side for the most part. Yeah, I'm not going to go too much into this, but as much as I hate Endgame, I just really dig that long-haired Viking look.
That shin is just popping like a bubble on a pizza. What?
Lady Jane? No, that's not her name. Another slept-on figure. She is absolutely gorgeous. Loki being awesome on his little broken-down sentinel foot. Shuri and the ladies guarding the king. Adding a little bit of effects. That glare is too bad. That makes it look sick, though. It's like actually lit up rockets. I kit bash a lot of these. I gotta make them what I want to look at. So I do a little bit of extra work with them. But it all turns out pretty well. But this Hulk, I'm not a big fan of this version, but the face is what makes me happy. Man, if Hasbro could just give us a new body with a new upgraded face to make it look a little bit better, but woo boy, man, that would make me so happy. Come on, Hasbro, if you're watching this, and we know that you are, come on and do this, please. Give us an updated Hulk, please. This is my MCU shelf. We go from heroes to villains. Now there's a gigantically huge
In the end, it was just the bad guys left.
So things may look a little different from the last video. I just had to do a little bit of a retooling. I think it works out a lot better now. It's fantastic. Yeah.
You got that right.
But yeah, unfortunately though, I guess once I get this video finished editing and posted, I'm getting rid of all these. Not for good or anything. I'm just going to be taking them all out so I can have more room for other figures and displays. I think 10 years has been long enough to have all these accrue into what it is now. But I don't know. I'm gonna take a break from Marvel for a minute. But I got a lot more ideas of things that I want to do, and this takes up a lot of space. And honestly, I think we can all agree about the content over the last like 6 years, 7 years. It's subpar at best. I mean, I literally have all the characters and the versions I care to have. I got them all, so I don't need anything else. Knocking out some of my favorites and underestimated. Yellow Jacket is a huge, I would say, slept on and hated figure, but I really enjoy the crap out of him. I think he's a killer. I really wouldn't say killer. He's good. He's good. I love this Namor pose. I think it looks fire as shit. And it's definitely equaled with the Tuma. You gotta have a little bit of balance, you know what I'm saying? You gotta have balance in your displays. The Black Order was fire as is before they got this 4-pack re-release, but man, the 4-pack's just killer, bro. It's so good. Oop. There we go. Underestimated Ultron, too. I'd like to have the SH Figure Arts, but, you know, I don't have that one, so this one's just as good for me. But they're all great in their own way, other than Kang. I mean, I really don't like anything for pretty much the new stuff, but I did call the Skrull thing. I haven't changed that figure since that version of the Skrull came out with the Captain Marvel wave. So I knew that was coming, but that show was awful. I'm trying to stay with the originality in poses. I don't really like to try and double them up, even though I'm looking at these two right now. Oh well, that face looks so good. Any way we look at it. Now, Thor 4 is absolutely the worst Marvel movie of all time. And Gore's interpretation is the worst as well, but I do like this pose. I like how he's cutting off his tattoos. Sick. For anybody new to the channel, I'm a diehard Kurt Russell fan, so any action figure of Kurt Russell, I either own it or I have to own it. And that's weird, but you'll see some. Hold up tight. Slept on figure number 47, Old Man Loki. I mean, not a lot of people like this figure. I think it got a lot of hate, but I love it. I had a lot of fun with this guy. I dig him a lot. He's actually still peg warming at my local Target, and it's 2024. So, and that's enough from the bad guys. Let's hit down to the cosmic wizardry shelf. So we got our wizards here, and yeah, it's nothing major. Glow effect in the back. Now, whenever Ollie's wants to go ahead and put their legends on clearance for less than $10, I'll cop another Wong just so we can have double white swords. Yeah, even though, yeah, whatever. So I'm definitely in the small group of people who actually didn't mind the Eternals movies, and I don't even want to really admit this, but I hunted these down and paid full price for every one of them. That's how much of a completionist I was with my OCD and all the Marvel stuff. Anyway, they're still great. I mean, even if you don't like the figures, they have really good custom possibilities. You know what I'm saying? Well, not necessarily those, but they were good for the display while they were here, but they will soon be gone too, and I cannot wait. Just the possibilities on what's going to become with all of this. I am really looking forward to it. So, I mean, it'll happen on the channel. Y'all will see it whenever I change it up. But very happy with the display so far. Have been for the last 10 years, so yep. Boom. There's been some other changes, and we're going to see these as we move on. I took away the tops from those. Stacked them on top. Now I got some cool, I don't know, individual little displays. I'll get backgrounds for all those and whatnot, but I'm thinking of getting 2 more cases and just making maybe a wall of that. Killing this, I don't know, just out loud thinking to y'all. And moving to the side, we're going to start with Monster Squad. Yep. It's fantastic. Everybody knows, I think, who's a fan of the channel. I love me some Monster Squad. Let's back it on up. Toonie Terrors, I'm not, like, into them, per se. I just thought that the initial, like, classic characters, I kind of had to have them. Even though I'm not a fan of that goofy shit. The more realistic, the better. But even though NECA just released these are just so great. I love them. I love them. There's a lot of movie maniacs. Let's just hit those up first. So the whole top portion is nothing but classic movie maniacs. Everything I grew up with. So let's get back on track here. Killer Clowns. I am waiting on more things to build this shelf up a lot. I'm a gigantic fan of the Chiodo brothers. If they were to ever make Ernest Scared Stupid toys, I would have to have those, well, because it's Ernest action figures. But yeah, the clowns were repainted and used in Ernest Scared Stupid. Whatever. I love Killer Clowns, so I say bring on all the merch they possibly can. So moving down from the Killer Clowns, we're definitely hitting up the horror shelves. I don't really like to open any of my horror figures, minus a few that I've had since way before I became like a insane collector when I came to conditions and boxes and whatnot. But these are my favorite horror films. These are all lined up in coordinates with which ones I care about the most and ranking. So, Evil Dead starts it out because everybody knows that I love Evil Dead. It's the greatest film and horror film of all time. I will not stop saying that. Greatest horror icon and probably the greatest cinema villain of all times. You know, I'm not going to go through all these. Y'all can read them, but I think I'm missing 2 Jasons. I will have those soon enough. I don't really remember which one. Yeah. Now the real toss-up was this one right here. I didn't know which way I wanted to go with this. The first Child's Play is horror central, and it's literally terrifying. So is it, though. It scarred me more. So I don't know, it's a toss-up. These really do just switch around here and there, but they're there for now. Everything else, straight up horror stuff. How could I possibly forget this? Boom! I got the NECA sci-fi stuff too. So I got a lot of different things here down here. It's kind of like the overflow shelf. Tortured Souls. I love Tortured Souls. Man, they just do not make them like this anymore. That's so weird to say. Makes me feel old as shit. Leatherface here too, though. He will never be sold. I got him, I don't know, maybe I was 16 or 17. Could never discard him. I would never, ever disgrace him. So getting away from the shelf, let's go wide with this.
continuing on with Freddy, though, let's just say that movie Maniacs was my absolute favorite Freddy in my entire collection. It's just my opinion, but before there was 3D printing and computers really had the main say in sculpting and people instead had to physically sculpt the designs for these figures, I just appreciate the sculpt factor, and that face is... woo! Going down, though, we're looking at unburned Freddy Krueger, and I'm very shocked that when I bought this figure, this is, of course, during with Toys R Us, they lined the shelves for so long, and now this is such a sought-after figure. It's just crazy. It's crazy how the game works. And I'm definitely not going to be passing on a Satan Freddy Krueger. Even though this movie wasn't that good, I mean, it was definitely ahead of its time. Very meta for whenever.
Do you have any tartar sauce for your shrimps?
And next up, we're going classic Ghostbusters. They're just cruising behind the TV for right now. I will have a space on them for display soon enough. But I love the 5.5-inch figures. Like, the fun level is a little bit there, and they're way more posable. My bro, they were way more posable than I thought. I mean, the likeness was pretty good. Some were better than others. And, of course, I had to get the Rick Moranis. Again, these were in display, but they change so often. Yeah. I like pandas. What are you going to do? I'll go over the wall real fast. We'll just start from Freddy and go over. So, Leatherface. I mean, it's just the amount of paint and detail. Granted, the articulation's not there from old movie Maniacs. I guess just like the new ones, hell. It's just the amount of detail and sculpt they put into it, man. It's McFarlane at his best. Yeah, he always came out of the gate swinging. After this, he just kept going with the Tortured Souls and I think it was the Twisted Fairy Tales. Man, they were just so great too. I'll have those one day. But, of course, Terminator 2 has to be in the display and the collection in some regard. And, of course, any Kurt Russell action figure will be in my collection. So, down from him, we are looking at Sin City. One of my favorites again. For comic book movies, easily one of the most accurate and one of the best.
Did you get them?
Yeah, I had to get those. What are you talking about? And again with Schwarzenegger, lining up with all the T-1000s. T-1000 Schwarzeneggers, T-1000 Schwarzeneggers. Creep show? Now, just thinking about this, I need to move the Evil Dead closer to the Evil Dead, where the Freddy Kruegers are with the Freddy Kruegers. So yeah, underneath we have Alien Resurrection. And people, y'all are not gonna like, I've seen this movie more than any of the other Alien movies, and I like it the most so far. Respectively, RoboCop being easily one of the greatest movies of all time. Sci-fi, 80s, any category you want to put it under, it needs to be there because they don't make movies like that for sure no more, bro. Not at all. Moving down, we have my alternate favorite version of Leatherface there's ever been. Hanging out with the other classic version of Leatherface that I love. And a forgotten toy line that nobody probably remembers except for hardcore collectors. That'll probably show your age. But these were great too. Toxic the Avenger. That's a Grail figure I want to have too. Either this version or the Super 7. One day though, maybe. Oh, look at this little guy hiding. Look at that. It's a Tarman? Oh my god, it's Tarman, bro. Empty Vader case. What are you going to do? Sometimes you got to improvise. Alright, now these were on display, but I had to take them down, of course, to make space. But these are my absolute favorite version of the Ninja Turtles. Right behind the Mirage. But yeah, they ride here for now. They will have a space in the display again soon enough. I got more down there, but there's a dirty sock I don't want to touch, so I'm not going to show it, but it's a bunch of 2-packs also.
Oh, giddy up.
From Snake Plissken, over the vent. Ace Ventura. Just thought about that. Wow. That's cool. That's really cool.
It really is.
This is one I'm most proud of. I'm so lucky and glad I found it when I did because I only saw him one time. It's great. His accessories and everything is fantastic. Come on now. Keaton, let's get real. Of course, any Michael Keaton action figure I will own. If they made multiplicity action figures, I'd be first in line. One of the best Heath Ledgers that I would say probably I've seen other than imports. But for so long ago, that face sculpt is so on point. Anyway, here we go. Moving over. 80s and 90s. Bruce Willis, of course. Pulp Fiction. Why would I ever pass on a Samuel L. Jackson figure? Come on. Ed Harris? Yeah. Like that man since The Abyss and The Rock. Not the guy, the movie with Sean Connery. Hannibal Lecter? When am I ever going to see another Anthony Hopkins figure? Buying it. The few Star Wars figures I own. Like I said, I don't pass on Sam. I don't pass on Jack. No, that's stupid. Phenomenal figure. Alright, next up is my Shrine to Big Trouble in Little China. I love it. I love it. Probably, let's go ahead and give a number on 3 favorite movie of all time. 3, third, it don't even matter. But I got them all. I'm only missing Lopan from this. Lopan will complete my set. And I think I'm pretty good with these 2 pops. If I find the other ones, that's fine. But if not, I'm just absolutely fine with those 2. But let's see here. Reaction figures. Of course, I had to cop them all. Unpunched. Not to brag, but it's kind of a big deal. Woo! Yep. Jack Burton Sideshow. Of course I own them. Of course. The day it got announced for pre-order. Papa owned that one. And these little guards make wonderful accessories because they really do fit the overall design and motif from some of the armored guards in the end of the film at the wedding ceremony. If anybody's familiar with the film, you know as I speak. But yeah, man, I love it. It's so great. But I do want to show my desk off because this is literally a random day of calamity of me just filming stuff, hanging out, doing whatever. Does anybody else's desk ever look like this? Let me check this out. I literally have a place of worship on my desk for Spot. What's that about?
Yeesh.
This dude, I don't know. You know, it's just a weird assortment of things that are always just riddled on my desk. Like, I just pose up random things. I'm like, I'm going to come get to them later. And I just never really do. And then they just become like Christmas ornaments on a tree. Bro, Jack-o'-lantern is so fire. I recommend anybody who sees them, you go ahead and get them. If you had fun with Cyclops, it's the exact same figure, but with way better neck articulation. Don't let that flaming head fool you like it's not going to move around. That thing can move, baby. It can move, baby! CT Toys 2099. It's good. It's got a squeaky arm. I'm going to have to fix that, but everything's good about this figure, bro. It's just what people were hyped about. And I'm hyped to have it now. Videos to come. But yeah, I'll just like pull a random figure out, hit some crazy kind of pose. Like I'm going to do some video with that. Maybe it gets a back burner hold on it, so they just hang out. And then they collect. And then they just stay here. It changes up just like the displays. But yeah, so that's the room tour, everybody.